Hey, you guys, in this class, we are covering Jalandhara Bandha, which is chin lock, and it will enable us to combine this lock with our pranayama, our breath work, so that we have control over the energy and the breath. Let's see what you think. Welcome to Inspired Vinyasa. My name is Sandra, although I'll tell you right off the bat, this is going to be more like an inspired Yin class. And we're going to work on one for sure, maybe a couple other bandhas, we'll see, and we're going to figure out what a bandha is. But first, close your eyes. Give me a deep breath in. Big exhale. And however you're sitting, I just want you to keep your eyes closed. I want you to feel very rooted, connected to the earth. So your focus is on the sit bones, the parts of the legs touching the ground. And then let your focus just gently slide right on up the spine. I want to make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall without hinging forward over the knees or leaning back, finding an even balance on the sit bones. And then once we get there, we also want to check the alignment of the neck. So if you have a tendency to kind of jut the head out forward, pull the chin back a little bit, everything, one straight line, root chakra, all the way up to the crown. This is going to be important later. So let's see how this feels. Let's get some cellular memory going. And don't worry, I'll try to catch any little corrections we can make if I think that you perhaps might be heading into slouching or forgetting about the length of the spine. So give me another deep breath in. Big exhale. Inhale, take the arms up. Bring the palms together, release them home to your heart, and go ahead and set your intention for your practice. When you're ready, let's release the hands. I'm going to tip into my right hip so I can get this left leg and right leg kind of draped off to my side. So both legs going to the left. I'm going to plant my right hand, inhale that left arm up, and then let's just bend into the elbow and get a side bend going here. But let's create a vinyasa so we can come back up with the breath and exhale back down, or if you want to inhale down, that's fine. And then next time you're up and you straighten out that right arm, let's let the left arm sweep around behind us. And then I'm just going to lift my hips so I can come up onto the knees. Gently push the hips forward a little bit. If you want to take that left arm up, you can. If you want it behind the back, that's fine. Focus on pulling the top shoulder back. Deep breath in. Exhale, slowly come back down. That left hand is going to come all the way around towards the right one. I want to lengthen, then turn my heart towards the mat on my right side and start to walk my way down. So option A might be to keep the arms straight. Option B might be to come down to the elbows and the forearms. And option C, depending on how the body feels, might be to come down a little bit farther. All right, we're talking about bandhas today. That's a Sanskrit word. It translates to like a lock, something that would stop energy from moving through it. It holds it. And so there are 5 bandhas. 2 of them are really, I don't want to say easy, but kind of, because they're more intention based. So you have Asta Bandha. Asta means hand. So it means focusing on the hands when we're in something like table or downward facing dog, and really feeling the energy coming up through the earth into the hands and sending that energy back. And then you have Pada Bandha. Pada means foot. And so same kind of thing, right? We can focus on that when we're in poses like warrior or tree or triangle, right? So those are the easy ones. And yeah, maybe I'll point them out to you, but that's not our main focus today. Go ahead, come on back up. As you come back up into center, let's sweep the legs around to the other side. All right, plant that left hand. Inhale, the right arm up. And then exhale, bend the elbow and create that little vinyasa, linking it with the breath. Okay, so we have Mula Bandha. Mula means root. So it's a root lock. Now think root chakra, right? Base of the spine, perineum. That's where that lock is held. And it stops energy from escaping out of the root chakra. It's going to move the energy up. And then we have Uddiyana Bandha. Uddiyana Bandha comes from the solar plexus. It also begins to push energy up. And then we have Jalandhara Bandha, which is your throat or chin lock. And that energy is going to create, or that lock is going to create the energy moving downward. So the intention, hang on, I know I left you in this vinyasa. Go ahead and bring that right arm down behind you. And then let's lift up onto the knees. Pull the top shoulder back, or you can stretch the arm up if you want to. And so the intention is that if you get that throat lock or chin lock going, the energy moves down. And if we were working on the other two at the same time, that energy is moving up and they all meet somewhere fabulously in the middle. And then you have Maha Bandha, which means that you are working on those three bandhas all at the same time: Mula, Uddiyana, and Jalandhara. All right, come on down. Take that right hand, bring it down to the mat, lengthen, and then decide how far you want to come down on this side. So today, the one I want to focus on is Jalandhara. Jala in Sanskrit means liquid or water. Dhara means kind of like a net. And then you have Bandha, which means lock. So if you can kind of imagine, it's almost like creating a symbolic net right across the throat chakra, so the energy can't go up further into the head. That's the chakra we're working on now. Or chakra, bandha. What makes that bandha different from the other two, Mula and Uddiyana, is that the other two can be focused on while you're in your asana practice. The chin lock is more for meditation or seated poses, and that's what we're going to do. We'll just kind of get used to it, and then we'll gradually in subsequent classes we'll add on the other bandhas until we can put it all together. How does that sound? All right, go ahead and come on up. I'm just going to turn sideways because as you come to center, I want to take the feet out in front and let's find half boat or the Navasana. Breathe, lengthen that spine. If you want to, you can grab onto the big toes. If they're too far away, don't yell at them. Just grab right underneath the calves. And we'll see if we can slowly straighten the legs, or maybe one at a time. We haven't stretched out yet. So if you're feeling tight, we kind of bicycle in the air. Perfect. And then we'll slowly bring the legs down. So before we get into our work with that chin lock, let's do a little bit of movement. We're coming into table. And remember, I said this is primarily going to be a yin class, so we're going to hold the poses quite a bit. Let's find our cat-cow here. And so what we can do while we're transitioning between cat and cow and warming up the spine is in that transition, we can take our gaze to our hands and really focus on the fingers spreading wide, a gentle grip of your mat, maybe creating a little hollow space right underneath the palm, as though you are trying to protect your last M&M and you don't want it to get lost or crushed. It's right underneath that palm. So there's a gentle lift going on. right? And so I want you to close your eyes, draw the earth energy up through the fingers. Stay with the breath. One more time. And then come back to table. Let's tuck the toes. Slowly take this to dog. Now, we can focus on Maha Bandha here. It's going to be easier for those of you whose feet can come all the way to the ground in this pose, but I don't want you to force that. And I don't want you to judge, and I don't want you to feel like something's wrong with your pose if your heels aren't touching. So whichever part of the foot is touching, let's just be conscious of that connection with the earth. You might want to close your eyes, see if you can imagine sensation between the sole of the foot and the ground. Deep inhale, loud sigh. And then let's bring the knees back to the earth and come back to a seated pose. So let's pick either Sukhasana, which is easy pose, which looks like this with the feet under the knees. Siddhasana, taking the knees out wider, ankles or the heels are more lining up in this pose. Or if you want to, Baddha Konasana. Any of those are great. Okay, so pick your favorite. Close your eyes. Start to deepen the breath. All right, turn your palms over on your knees. I want to find our seated cat-cow here. So inhale, sit up tall. Exhale, round it out. The reason I wanted to go here is because I really want you to feel the transition of the spine being straight when you're sitting up, and then how it slowly rounds out behind you to take you into your seated cat. That way, perhaps we might notice any subtle changes that we're not totally aware of when we get to working with this bandha. So Jalandhara bandha is, I already said it's not really used too much with asana. There are some poses we can do with it. It's more used with prana and pranayama. So with that life force energy, your breath. So that's what we're going to be focusing on. All right, let's sit up all the way. Now, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to find that straight line from the root chakra, base of the spine, all the way up to the crown chakra, top of the head. And again, if you have a tendency to let the head come forward, pull it back into alignment. Now take a deep inhale. Exhale. Deep inhale, hold the breath. Let it go. So what I want you to start to notice on those fabulous exhales, when you feel that energy just coming down as you let out all that air, are we slouching? Do you maintain the same length on the inhale? Does it stay the same on the exhale, or does it relinquish a little bit? So that's what I want you to notice. Go ahead, deep inhale. Hold the breath. Exhale. So what did you notice? Right? It's okay to feel the shoulders settling into space. What we don't want to happen is the back to round forward. We want to keep that length. So let's try this again. Stay very focused on the length of the spine. Deep inhale. Hold the breath. Hold the length. Hold the length. Exhale the breath. Perfect. Stay with the breath for a moment. All right, inhale the arms up. Exhale to the heart. Release the backs of the hands down. All right, now what I want you to do is find that length again. Draw the shoulders up, take them back and down. Perfect. Now, if I were to tell you, well, I am going to tell you, drop the chin to your collarbone. I want you to notice, of course, sensation and a stretch going down the back of the neck. What I also want you to notice, bring that head back up for a moment, is oftentimes when we drop the chin, look what happens, right? The back softens, it rounds out. So if we were to find our length and then drop the chin, we're probably thinking, wow, it just doesn't seem like it goes very far, right? But I'm going to teach you a new technique. So inhale, find your length. Keep the length, drop the chin. Let's not worry about where it ends up. Make sure there's no slouching. Make sure you feel like the shoulders are down and back. Okay, bring the head back up. Now, this time what I want you to do is I want you to lift the sternum to the chin. If that sounded really weird, just bear with me for a second, right? So find your length. Now imagine that you're lifting the chest. Okay, did you feel your chest rise? I didn't lose my length. But go ahead and soften. I'm going to try to make it more visible. I don't know if you guys can see this, but as I inhale, I'm lifting the chest bone upwards. And then I'm going to relax without losing the length in the spine. So, Jalandhara Bandha, chin lock. Yes, it looks like a yogi has simply dropped their chin forward toward the collarbone. But what's also happening that you wouldn't be able to maybe pick up from a picture is that instead of just dropping the chin, the collarbone and the sternum and the chest all rise to meet the chin, right? So if you watch one more time, my head is down. I kind of feel like I have my length. I feel like I'm slouching a little, but watch as I lengthen and then I bring the sternum up. Now I can feel a constriction in my throat. What I don't want you to do here, don't open the jaw to get the chin closer to the sternum and don't lock the jaw. Everything is soft. So inhale, sit up tall. Who knew just sitting here could be so difficult, right? We barely move. Inhale, find that length. Okay, make sure you're a straight line. Now, as you drop the head, bring the chest up. Hold it right here. Keep holding. So we haven't even added in the breath. Stay right there. Now I want you to swallow. It's not super easy because you've created that lock in your throat, right? Okay, bring the head back up. All right, find that length. We're going to inhale. Hold the breath. Drop the chin, lift the sternum. Hold it right here. You're holding the breath. You can try swallowing again if you want. Bring the head back up and let go of the exhale without losing the straightness of the back. All right, we're going to try this. You ready? Okay. Inhale. Hold the breath. Drop the chin. Sternum rises to meet the chin. Bring the head back up. Exhale. Don't lose the length. Inhale. Hold the breath. Drop the chin, lift the sternum. Bring the head back up and exhale. So there are a couple things you can do here differently from the way I'm saying it. It's kind of up to you. I'm not taking a full lung capacity inhale. I'm taking an inhale probably about 2/3 of the way up. I leave that up to you. The other thing is when we drop the head and we're holding the breath, obviously, you can hold for a shorter or longer length of time, depending on what you need to happen. And then, some texts will say that you bring the head up first and then you exhale, but I've also read you exhale as you bring the head up. So I kind of think whatever resonates with you more is fine. It's all about trying to lock the energy so it can't escape out through the third eye, and the crown chakras. All right, close your eyes. Let's try this a couple more times, and then let's move a little. So inhaling. Hold the breath, drop the chin, sternum rises. You can try swallowing again so you can feel that lock in place. Head comes back up, keep the length, and exhale. All right, do 2 more times without me. Yeah. So if you're doing this and you feel like you're making yourself have a double chin, you're doing it right. And so that's constricting the energy. As we begin to, in the next few classes, learn the other bandhas, we'll try to isolate that energy between the root and the throat and get it all to meet in the middle. All right, let's come on over into table. Go ahead and find your cat-cow. Are you thinking about the hands? Asta Bandha. And then neutral spine. Let's get that right foot forward to the outside of the right hand. So we're going to find lizard here. So you might want to pick up that back leg and move it further back if you want to. Totally up to you. So in lizard, we want the knee over the ankle. That foot is obviously a lot wider out. You can actually angle the foot, toes wider if you want to. And let's have a variety of options here so we can hold this pose. Option A, just right here. Arms are straight. I might want to drop my head because, as you know, in Yin Yoga, we don't move once we get into the pose. So decide what's comfortable for you. You might choose to come down to the elbows and the forearms. If you want to come lower, you can. If you want to use a prop, you can. The prop could be to hold up the head. It could be to add some height so the floor is not quite so far away, right? And then, of course, the other element you could add in lizard, I'm going to switch legs real quick so it's easier for you to see, is you could spill onto the outer edge of that front foot so that the knee actually tips out and the hip opens. You pick, get settled. We're going to hold for a moment without moving once we get into the pose we like, and I'll actually look at the clock so we're spending the same amount of time on both sides. All right, do some wiggling, get comfy. All right, settle in. Set the intention not to move. Okay. Deep inhale. Big exhale. Start to bring your weight back up into your hands if you came down at all. I'm going to let the right foot and hand switch places. tuck the back toes, lift that leg. I'm going to bunny hop forward just a little bit so I can get my balance here. We're going to find supported warrior C. So that left leg is lifted out behind you. Hips should be closed. Lengthen. We've already talked so much about lengthening the spine, right? Lengthen the spine. Nice. Option A, stay right here. Option B, take that right hand forward a little bit and start to open that left hip, taking you into Artichandrasana. And if you want to, you can take that left arm up. Stay with that deep breath. So you can see why we can't really work on Jalandhara Bandha when we're in poses like that. It's just not going to work, right? Okay, go ahead and release that pose. Release the leg down. Let's come back to table. Find your cat-cow when you're ready. Meander back to table. That left foot's coming forward outside of the left hand. Tuck the back toes, lift that leg, scooch that leg backwards, start to soften into your pose. And again, you decide exactly where you want to be. I kind of liked having my head resting on my block, so in the yin poses, you want to settle in, do a body scan. Notice if there's any part of the body not happy, because it's going to let you know. Do some wiggling and adjusting, get comfortable, and then our intention is to not move. So here we go. Deep inhale. Cleansing exhale. And let's start to get our weight back into our hands. Left hand and leg change places. I'm going to tuck the back toes, lift that leg, short step forward so that I can find supported warrior C. Lengthen out. Stay here if you want to, or left hand moves forward a bit so that we can open up that right hip and find Artichandrasana. Slowly make your way back out of the pose. We're going to end up in forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway monkey. Exhale, come back to your fold. And then let's just see if the weight of the head and the upper body can get a little heavier. Pull us down a little deeper into this space. And then bend into the knees. We're going to sit all the way down and come right up into half boat again. Stay at that deep breath. And then You can release the hands and the feet. We're going to lay back for a moment. We're setting the alignment for bridge. So feet are hip distance apart. They're pretty close to you. I mean, if you can graze the tips of your fingers against the heels, you're in pretty good shape. But if feet aren't going to come that close, I'm not worried about it. Just giving you some guidelines, right? Get the shoulder blades underneath. Pull the low back down. You'll feel the pelvic tip a little bit forward and up. And then we want to lift up off the earth. Now, you'll notice, and please don't turn your head in this pose, but you notice the same kind of feeling in bridge with that bandha we were working on, that chin lock, right? There's a constriction of the throat chakra here. And so this would be one of the poses where we could kind of at least get the same feeling and sensation. So just take your focus to the throat chakra and deepen the breath. Try to swallow. And then we're going to slowly bring the hips down on an exhale and hug the knees in. So that felt similar, right? Mostly you're working on Jalandhara Bandha in a seated pose like we did when you're meditating. But yes, we can simulate that feeling in bridge. You could also feel it in shoulder stand. But yeah, mostly it's when you're seated. And we'll get back to it. We'll try it again. I had rock this out a minute. I didn't really mean a minute, a moment. And then set the feet back down. We have work to do here. All right, I want you to set up for bridge again. I want you to get the right ankle up on top of that left thigh. Push the knee away. Foot is flexed. Lift up. One-legged bridge. Make sure the hips are level. Good job. Slowly come back down. Take that right leg, send it up to the ceiling. Okay, now lift the hips. Breathe. Come halfway down. Lift back up. Halfway down. Lift back up. In fact, imagine I've grabbed your top ankle and I'm pulling you up. And that way, it'll seem like so much less work. Keep going. You can thank me later for helping lift that leg up towards the ceiling. One more. Nice. Come all the way down and then release that foot. Hug the knees in. All right. Set the right foot down. Outer left ankle on the right thigh. So it looks like we're heading into a supine pigeon, right? Of which we're not. So set that alignment for bridge as well. When you're ready, slowly lift up. Try to keep the hips level. Stay with the deep breath. On an exhale, hips come down. Inhale, left leg up. When you get to your next inhale, lift the hips. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, let me pull that ankle up. Exhale, halfway down. Keep going. Give me one more. Bring the hips down, set the foot down, hug the knees in. All right, so depending on if you want to be facing away from your screen or you want to turn so you can still see your screen, we're coming onto the stomach and we are going to set up another yin pose. We're going to be in Sphinx. So forearms and elbows are on the mat. The arms are parallel. If you have trouble remembering that or keeping the arms parallel, put a block at its longest length between the forearms. Fingers are spread wide. Remember our Hasta Bandha, our hand lock. And we really want to look at the fingers, spread them out wide, gentle grip of the earth. I want to traction forward and find that lift in the sternum again. So everything's lifting up. Now close your eyes. Do that body scan. See if you're happy here. If you want to set up a block and drop the forehead to the block, I'm good with that. All right. And let's set the intention to not move. Big inhale. Exhale. Start to make your way out of this pose. Oh my gosh, I have the worst itch on my left arm and you can't move and Yin. Holy cow. Talk about fighting against the mind. We're coming back down into child's pose. And just settle into Malasana, softening into your space. So we collectively, you and I, we talk about Rumi quite a bit, right? Sufi poet from something like 3,000 years ago. Rumi wrote this: there is one way of breathing that is shameful and constricted. And then there's another way, a breath of love that takes you all the way to infinity. And so when we are working with prana, which is breath, yes, but it's that life energy within you. And we are working with pranayama, controlling the breath. We are taking full advantage of that breath taking us to places we haven't traveled before, rather than allowing us to stay hidden and constricted within the chest. Now we let it expand and we let it move. So while you're in child's pose, will you please find that expansive breath? And if the body wants to sway with the breath, hips want to move, follow your instinct. If the arms want to change their positions, you should do that too, right? All right, let's come back up into table. We're going to take the left hand and inhale it up towards the ceiling. The palm is facing to your left, the same way that you're looking. And then we'll slowly drop this arm. We're going to thread the needle. So we're bringing the left arm through, head all the way down to the ground. If it won't go there, grab a prop, your sweatshirt, a pillow, something. And then will you see where you're comfortable here? Wherever you want to put that right arm is fine. Close your eyes. Okay, if you need to wiggle or change this up at all, now's the time. And then we're setting that intention to stay still. Okay, let's make a little adjustment here. I want to give you some options because my first option might not work for everyone. Can we keep the upper body and thread the needle, but take the legs back into child's pose? So see if that works for you. I'm just kind of wiggling my knees out wide. As my hips drop, I've got to settle back a little bit into my space. If that's not going to work, then let's find a different way to get there. You might want to come up halfway, take the legs into child's pose, and then come on back down. So this should be a very peaceful stretch on the bottom shoulder. There should not be pain. If there's pain here, you are not even in this pose, right? You've already listened to your body and made a change. And then let's slowly come back up, right into table. Inhale, the right arm up to the ceiling. Remember that palm is facing same direction you're looking. And then this arm is going to drift down and thread underneath the right. Get comfortable, settle in, close your eyes, and stay still. And then from here, however it's easiest for you, if we can keep the upper body and thread the needle, that's fine. If you need to come back up, but we're just going to wiggle the knees wide and settle back into Malasana with the upper body and thread the needle. And then gently push your way up. And we're coming back to being seated on the mat, right? I mean, if our main purpose here is to figure out Jalandhara Bandha, we need to do it again. So, comfortable seats. Close your eyes, feel the length of the spine. Elevate from the crown chakra. Make any adjustments you need to. Okay, we're going to inhale. Hold the breath. Drop the chin as the sternum rises. Bring the head back up and exhale. What if you don't know if you're losing that length in the body? What if you can't tell? There's no one next to you to tell you. There's one thing you can try. If you take your thumbs and hook them right underneath your armpit and bring the elbows down, it's like you're holding yourself in place. Okay, close your eyes. Inhale. Exhale. Do you notice that? Like it feels like you didn't move at all. Okay, try this with our bandha. Inhale. Hold the breath. Drop the chin, sternum lifts. Head back up and exhale. Nice, release your hands. Okay, can you give me, how about 4 or 5 cycles of Jalandhara Bandha? When you finish, Backs of the hands just staying on the knees, closing your eyes, and we'll all eventually meet up here together. Go ahead. Remember, the jaw stays soft. Okay, I'm going to assume that we're all finished. We're all peaceful. Go ahead, slowly inhale the arms up. Bring the palms together, exhale to the heart. And then release the hands. Come on down onto your back. If you have a prop, great, grab it. You might want it. If you don't have one, I'm so not worried about it. We're going to lay back, hug the knees in. And then stretch out that left leg. Let's bring the right leg into our supine twist. And here's where you might want a prop to hold that leg in place, because I want to hang out here, make this a yin pose. So get comfortable. Make your adjustments that you need to. And then make sure you're not holding. Like, are you relaxed here? Can you let go? Or are you gonna, flail out of this pose? What do you need to do to stay here? Right shoulders on the ground, whether you have the arms in scarecrow or the arms are straight. Okay, let's set the intention to stay still. And then peacefully roll onto your back. I'm going to interlace my fingers behind the right thigh, stretch that leg towards the ceiling. Both feet are flexed, low back is pulling down. Don't move. Perfect. All right, go ahead and Release that right leg. Stretch it out on the mat. Oh, that feels good. Hug the left knee in. If you need a prop on the right side, go ahead and move it over there. And then let's take that supine twist to the right. Arrange the arms so that the left shoulder is on the earth. Make sure you're comfortable. Change whatever you need to. And then we lock in with this intention that we are going to stay still. And then gently roll onto your back. Interlace the fingers behind the left thigh. Stretch that leg up. Flex both feet. Low back down and stay right here. Keep breathing. And relax. Okay, let's hug both knees in. Lift up the head and shoulders. And then gently let go. Head comes back down, straighten the legs out. Let's find Shavasana. Grab whatever props you want, socks, sweatshirt, blanket, make yourself super happy. And then make sure you close your eyes. And doing a body scan, starting at the crown of the head. As your focus moves down through the body, I want you to feel those body parts releasing, growing heavy, letting go, relinquishing to the earth. Does your spine feel like it's in a straight line? Now, I know that sounds like a weird question, but I can't tell you how many times I have come up behind someone in Shavasana to put oils on the forehead or whatever I'm doing, and their neck and upper body are not in alignment with where the legs are going. So I want you to consciously think about that. Get as straight as you possibly can from the root chakra up through the crown. And then give me a deep inhale. Hold the breath. And let it go. I'll see you on the other side of Shavasana. Notice it's a very peaceful, content breath. And perhaps you set the intention that it invites a new energy to move throughout the body. You can add movement to the hands and feet if you like. And then give me a deep inhale. Loud exhale. And very peacefully roll onto whichever side you prefer in a fetal position. When you're ready, push your way back up into a seated pose. Find that length. Strong inhale from the root chakra up to the crown. Cleansing exhale. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale the hands to the heart in prayer pose. The light in me bows to the light in you. And when I'm in that place in me, and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.